Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 7 at Aqueduct on Sunday. It's the feature race. It's the top flight. We're going a mile and an eighth for fillies and mares. $100,000 is the purse. Before we get to the entry card, remember, last chance to get those free Timeform USPPs in your DRFPPs. Go to DRF.com, access your past performances, click on the Timeform US tab, and take a look at all of the great Timeform US features. Here's the field for the top flight, and there's going to be a pretty big favorite in here. The number 4, Kathleen O, is 4-5 on our colleague David Aragona's morning line. She's a graded stakes winner. She's coming off a couple of graded stakes placings, and distance should not be an issue.
All those things are true, Dan. It just feels like the right spot for them to run this horse. And I realize that she hasn't won a race in, I think it's exactly a year coming up to this race on Sunday, but this is the right spot for her.
Todd Pletcher has a couple of horses in here. Falconette, Let Her Inspire You, and both have shown tactical speed. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector for the top flight, and we see that the 7, Let Her Inspire You, should show some speed. She's stretching out of a 6.5 furlong race. Personally, Mike, if I'm Jose Lezcano on Falconette, I'm on a send.
I would go also if I was riding Falconette, but certainly Let Her Inspire You, Dan, could easily make the lead in this race, even with the outside post in here. And we'll see if they decide to get aggressive with her again as they stretch her back out.
The last time Falconette ran a mile and an eighth was the ladies at Aqueduct, 2 starts back on New Year's Day. She was the favorite that day. She won very comfortably. Last time out, they cut her back to a mile in the Heavenly Prize, and the pace was not very fast. She basically was disputing that slow pace with the winner and couldn't get by. She was simply second best that day. Maybe stretching back out will help her.
It could certainly help her. She's got races to be tough in here. And as you already pointed out, she's got enough speed from the rail that they could, maybe work out a really nice trip in this race. I didn't think had any excuse last time, Dan. That being said, Frostpoint, first of all, I thought it was shocking that this horse was 3-5 in that race. And Frostpoint would look really, really good in this field. So it's not like that was an embarrassing loss by any stretch of the imagination. I know that she won 2 back going this distance. I just don't know how I feel about that race. She ran fine in there. Kind of felt like the runner-up got a little unlucky.
Perhaps the number 2, Easy to Bless, at a pretty big price, is going to try to get forwardly placed. After all, this is the first time she's routed in her 25-race career. She's won 10 of those races. She just hasn't really proven to be much of a stakes horse. 4th in the correction last time out, but it was a race over a wet track where she tried to rally from out of it. Maybe that race didn't play to her strengths. There are distance and class questions, but she can get close to the pace, I guess.
Yeah, I guess she's a really cool horse, but she's not necessarily a stakes kind of horse, and the distance is obviously a huge question for her.
The number 3, Sweet Willamina, is very versatile, whether it's sprinting or going long. She usually comes with a really honest effort. She's won 13 of 39 starts in her career, and last time out, cutting back to a sprint at Parks, she ran a solid 3rd in the Penn's Landing Stakes behind a very hot horse, Disco Ebo, who's been running some fast races in the Mid-Atlantic area. Another horse, however, that might need to step it up if a horse like Kathleen O brings her best.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, she seems versatile enough as far as distance goes and as far as running style goes. So I can see, the trip working out for her and maybe her, even seeing out this distance just fine. It's just a question of whether she really fits in a race like this one. They ran her in the ladies 2 starts back, and she was really no factor.
Kathleen O, the number 4, won a couple of graded stakes races earlier last year, then was 5th in the Kentucky Oaks. I thought she ran just fine in that race, and then she went to the sidelines. She had 1 start towards the end of 2022, an okay effort in the Cumley as the beaten favorite, and in this race, the Royal Delta at Gulfstream last time out. This is a race where she didn't break very well. The pace wasn't fast. She came 4 wide into the stretch, and she just couldn't catch a hot horse in Classy Edition. The break is becoming a bit of an issue for Kathleen O. She could use some pace help up front. She's getting blinkers for the first time, and maybe that'll sharpen her up.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why they're going on, Dan. I mean, the breaking slowly from the gate is sort of a theme with her. She just never really gets out of the gate that well. She doesn't have early speed, so she's probably going to be last early again in this race. It's obviously a really good spot for her. She's going to be a really short price, though, and it's not like there aren't any holes in her. Again, she hasn't won a race in a year, and she just doesn't really have any speed, so she could be compromised.
The 5 Mama's Gotta Run was claimed by Linda Rice for $50,000 4 starts back. She's hit the board in her 3 starts for this barn, including this victory in a second level allowance going a 1-turn mile back on March the 17th. And Mama's Gotta Run made a pretty solid mid-race move into the teeth of a good pace and kept right on going. This was her first start in a long time with blinkers, and she seemed to like it.
Yeah, she was good in here. It's not a very strong field, but she still, ran a really nice race here and wins easily. This is a pretty significant step up in class for her. It'll be interesting to see what kind of trip she pulls in this race. Dan, I thought it was odd 2 starts back. They went this distance with her Timeless Journey beater. That was a strange ride she got in that race. She was up close early. She dropped way back around the final turn, wound up last as they came to the stretch, and then ran again. They obviously can't afford to give away position like that this time, and it's a pretty tough spot for her.
Speaking of Timeless Journey, she began her career as a turf horse, but Ray Handel switched her to the dirt 4 starts back, and it seems like this is what she's wanted all along. She's won 3 of the 4 starts, including this race against fellow New York breds in the Biagio's Rose going a 1-turn mile. And we see Timeless Journey. She's wading in behind horses for a seam. She's going to bull her way to the outside, and she's going to go right past these horses. This was a likable effort. It was a bit of a slow time, so she's going to have to pick it up against tougher.
Yeah, her figure regresses here, but she was much the best in this race, and she only really ran for about the last 1/8 of a mile. Another good performance for her. She showed that she can get the distance 2 starts back when she defeated a couple of these horses, Dan. She's going to get a good trip in this race. Probably has to up her game again, but I'm not way against her in this spot.
Another New York bred in excellent form is the 7. Let Her Inspire You. And she's so versatile. She won the Empire Distaff going 1 mile and 1/8 here at Aqueduct last year. And in her most recent start, the race will show you right now, this second level open allowance, she handles 6.5 furlongs with no issue. And she's up close to a pretty legitimate pace. She is a really rock solid filly. She's just a little bit slow on paper.
Yeah, it doesn't have that one real fast race that you can point to. I guess that's the biggest issue. We were talking about the pace earlier, though, Dan, and she can easily make the lead, even from post 7 in this race. Go back and watch that race 2 back when Timeless Journey beat her. I'm not really sure what Jose Lezcano was thinking in that race, but this horse broke running, could have easily cleared to the lead in there, and he did not want it. He took her back off the pace, sat on the outside, and she got beat.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Sunday's feature race at the Big A. It's the Top Flight, and Kathleen O at a short price just looks like the one to beat. Getting blinkers for Shug McGahee, a win here, and it might be on to bigger and better.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it is for her. Listen, it's not like she doesn't have anything to prove still, Dan. I just kind of feel like Shug's found a really good spot for her here.
Mike's going 4, 6, 5, and 1. I'm going 4, 1, 5, and 6. It's the Top Flight, Sunday's feature at the Big A, and it's 100 grander. Good luck.